All right, guys, here is part two of this note set. Latitude is a measurement of distance in degrees north and south of the equator. The main line of latitude is the equator. All right. There are 90 degrees of latitude from the equator to each of the poles, north and south. Latitude lines are the same distance apart. All right. So 30 degrees in that picture. The equator is the longest of all the latitude lines. It is an invisible line that divides the Earth in half. It is at zero latitude. All right, so um, you start at 90 and that zero sorts of meet in the middle. The lines of latitude are parallel to the equator. They're 90 degrees of north. There are 90 degrees of latitude north and south of the equator. So the equator is at zero. The equator is at zero. um, the equator divides the Earth into two equal parts. Longitude is a little bit different. Um, Longitude is a measurement of distance in degrees west or east of the prime meridian. And one thing, okay, I'll wait. Lines of longitude, including the prime meridian, pass through the North and South Pole. And it makes the Earth looks like a peeled orange. You know, when you take off the skin and those are the pegs. Yeah. Prime meridian is a little bit different. It does divide the Earth in half at the equator. It's also zero. It passes through the Greenwich, England. There are 180 lines of latitude on each side of the prime meridian. On the opposite side, the prime meridian is not zero, but it is 180 on the opposite side. It's called the international date line. So it's zero on one side, the prime meridian is zero, and the international date line is 180. Longitude lines connect the North Pole to the South Pole. The line of zero longitude is a prime meridian. It gives directions east and west of the prime meridian. There are 180 degrees of longitude on each side of the prime meridian. Latitude and longitude can be used to find your exact location on a map. You write the latitude first, followed by the longitude. So lat first, then long. So for example, Miami, Florida is located at 25 degrees north and 80 degrees west, or 25 and 80 W. This is a compass rose. It's used on a map to help you orient, to find your directions, north, south, east, and west. Um, Take a moment, pause, and practice. I want you before we go over the answer to try and write the latitude, longitude for these systems. So this is a hurricane, this is a whale, and this is a bird. All right. So hint, hint. Oh, you cannot see. Oops. There you go. There you go. All right. So that should help. The hurricane is at 10 south and 5 east, right? The whale is at 0, and that's neither north or south, and 5 west. The bird, which is up in the corner up here, is at 25 north and 5 east. So need to be able to look at a map and locate something. So we'll do a little bit of practice with that. Topography. Topography is the physical and natural features of the land. A topographic map shows the natural features such as elevation and man-made features such as schools. All right, contour lines are the lines that show elevation or height. So if two things are on the same contour line, they're on the same elevation. Contour lines of the same elevation are connected. Yeah. All right. Topographic maps are 2D images that can be used to create a 3D image. So should be able to create a 2D image, a 3D image from a 2D image of a topographic map. The closer the lines are together, the steeper the slope is. The further they are apart, the more gradual the slope is. So you might want to like draw a little picture to have that little demonstration in your notes. Map scale compares the distance on the map with the distance on Earth. The legend explains the symbols that are used on the map. The index contours are the lines that are labeled to help you find the contour interval. And the relief is the difference in elevation between 2 points. A contour interval is the difference in elevation between two contour lines that are side by side. To find the contour interval, you find the index contour. So that's that number that's on the map. You determine the elevation between the two. So what are those numbers? What's the difference between those numbers? And then you count the number of spaces between the two contours. If you count these, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in between our two. So that's 800 minus 700, that's 100. And then divided by 5, that's 20. So each line gives you 20 more in terms of elevation. Put a box around the map scale. It's there. It's usually written on the map. It kind of tells you the difference between, one line and the next. The circle at least one index contour. Oh, is there a legend? No, there's not a legend. A legend is like a key, right? And it's not there. And that's one index contour. And the index contour interval, it actually tells you on this one is 40 feet, although you could have calculated it. Other features on a topographic map are mountains or hills. Mountains are represented by closed circles. So if you see something like that, that is the top view of a mountain, where the inner circle would be the highest point. A depression is shown as a circle, but with the hatchers inside of it. So that's how you could tell that, hey, that's not a mountain. And if that were a mountain, you'd have more circles around it to show that it's getting higher. So a depression is the circle with the hatchers inside it. An example of this might be like inside a volcano or something. Other features are streams. They usually show those using dark lines. Contour lines that form a V point upstream, like this one here, right? And water will flow in the opposite direction of that because the water is going to go from high to low. Other landforms are canyons, deltas, mountains or hills, and ridges and valleys. All right, make sure you pause because I need to make my less than 15 minutes. So pause and write. This is what those actually look like. Not on a map, in real life. Here are some ridges. Other landforms that you can see on a map are plains, interior plains, coastal plains. And that's what it looks like in real life. Mountains are classified in several ways. You could have a mountain range or a mountain system or a mountain belt. A range is a group of adjacent mountains that are related to each other in shape and structure. A system is a group of mountain ranges, and a mountain belt is the largest mountain systems joined together. And this is what these look like. So the range, the system, and the mountain belt. All right, that's it. That's a nice full pack of introductory material. We will do a little bit with practicing conversions in the SI system. We'll do a little bit with reading maps, latitude and longitude, and then we're gonna dive on into our first unit, which is the lithosphere. Copy all your notes in your notebook, come to class with any questions, ask for clarification during live time, and I will see you then.